time, Dad?
Oh, I'm just going off to see my sister for a few days. You won't even know I'm gone.
Aunt! How are things? Where's your father? Things are good. The harvest looks very promising this year. Father is away.
Hi, son. I hope everything's as I left it. Well, I was off to see your sister. You can tell me about it after I see
you. Look, Dad, I know you are missing your sister. What is going on? Is everything okay?
Everything's fine. I'll explain more when you're older.
Dad, I'm old enough now. I took care of the farm while you were away.
Alright, you're right. Go for a walk. You know that old castle? The knights who lived there ruled a large part of our homeland, Poland. For a while, the Poles and the Teutonic Knights lived together peacefully. But then small fights started to break out. Some Poles who were ruled by the Knights wanted their freedom back. They asked King Władysław Jagiello for support, and he agreed. This is when I first fought against the Teutonic Knights.
How long did this go on, Dad?
Well, son, in that summer of 1409, the king signed a temporary treaty with the Teutonic Knights so that they could both prepare for battle during the difficult winter months. Władysław knew that the knights were powerful, both numbers and armor, so he began to look for help outside the bounds of Poland.
You mean he found other Poles living abroad?
No, Poland's actually joined with another country, Lithuania. So he asked the Lithuanians to send as many troops as they could.
Did they help?
Of course, the Poles and Lithuanians sent thousands of men, and even went so far as to seek help from the Mongols in Kiev.
Sounds desperate.
He wanted to be prepared and keep his people safe, even if it means being desperate, so be it.
I guess so.
You want to hear something crazy?
Crazier than asking Mongols for help?
I was one of the men who went to Kiev.
Seriously? What was it like?
At that time, Kiev was under the rule of Lithuanians, but the surrounding area was inhabited by a large number of Tatars. Vytautas agreed to send about 3,000 men to help fellow Lithuanians.
That's so interesting, Dad. What happened when this treaty expired?
Over the winter, while the king was getting his armies ready and collecting supplies, I'd been staying in Kiev, getting to know the Russians who would be coming to assist us in battle. After 6 long months, I finally got to return home here to Poland. With the assistance of 3,250 brave men. Well, it was only early July when the armies first approached each other. We finally discovered where the Teutonic Knights were camped out. They'd been storming for several days. So the battlefield was muddy and the powder was wet.
Oh no! How did you fire your cannon?
Well, it meant the battle started slow, and our fire was generally ineffective. But that also meant the enemy's was ineffective. That's better. It's getting late out here. We have a lot of work tomorrow to do. So let's go in and have some wine.
Come on, Dad. You promised you'd finish the story.
Okay. Where was I?
The armies had just arrived in Grunwald, and the powder was no good.
Oh, okay. So there were 20,000 knights under the command of Teutonic Grand Master Ulrich von Jungingen. Meanwhile, there were 30,000 men waiting to fight them, one half being Lithuanian, and a third of the Lithuanians being Russian volunteers. I helped organize and lead into battle.
You helped lead 3,250 men? It must have been really loud.
General noise I could handle, but I could still hear the Teutons shouting, "God is with us! God is with us!" But alas, God was not with them. With the combined Polish-Lithuanian armies with Russian-Mongol assistance. Perhaps God was not even there that day.
But how did you have enough armor for your men?
Supply was not a problem. It was the heat that got us. Midsummer, the field surrounded by men and horses, standing under the sun with our heavy armor. The sweat and dehydration was a real problem, as was the smell.
How did the battle begin, Dad?
It started early in the morning. Before the troops were even ready, 2 Teutonic knights came to King Ladislav's tent and asked to see him. 2 guards allowed the knights to enter, and when they saw the king, they each presented him with a sword, and told him to use them to fight more boldly than the Poles had in the past. This was a great insult to the king and our Polish-Lithuanian forces. It incentivized us to fight even more fiercely than we knew we could. We fought our hardest, but we were forced to retreat. When the Teutonic knights began to sing, "Christ has risen," Jogila put it in the reserves. But the Grand Master and his reserves came out and attacked the Poles. Once we drew out the peasant reserves we had, things got better. And after the Grand Master and several of his officers were slain, we knew we'd come out victorious.
If we won, why are there still knights in the castle?
Son, we may have won the battle of Grunwald, but we have not totally defeated the Teutonic knights. At their fortress, Marienburg, they're basically impenetrable.
So where do you go every year if it's not to see your sister?
I go back to Kiev to meet with the Russians I fought with. There may have been a lot of tension between our 2 countries, but I will never forget that they came to our aid when we needed them most. One day, perhaps you will have to answer the call and go off to war. But for now, let's just enjoy the relative